We have got Amar with us, with Sanjay Gupta. He is a well-known person in Jaipur because we all aware about the Mangalam group of building. He is associated with that group and he will be giving his keynote address on the subject of service tax on the buildings. Now I request Mr. Sanjay Gupta to deliver his address on the service tax on builders so that we should get knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, S.C. Jalsa. Wish you a very good morning on this cold day and special regards to the dignitaries sitting on the dais. I am covering a small but very important topic, service tax on the real estate. As you all know, real estate is a subject which requires a special attention because the focus of the government and focus of all the authorities these days are on the real estate. So I am starting my subject, service tax on the real estate builders and developers. There are basically three categories under which the real estate builders are covered. That is commercial or industrial construction, construction of residential complexes, and works contract service. These are the definitional parts, what includes the commercial and industrial construction service. What is the meaning of construction of complex services and what are the essential requisites of the residential complexes. Friends, before the insertion of the explanation by the Finance Act 2010, basically the services which were covered under the real estate predominantly were related to the contractor. The contractor has to pay the service tax and the builders who were selling the properties were paying the stamp duty and there were no role of the service tax. But what happened after the decision of the Honorable Supreme Court in K. Raheja Development Corporation, which was in respect of the builder K. Raheja in the Karnataka and related to the Karnataka where what happened in some parts of the country, the agreement to sell entered into between the builder as well as the purchaser. There are basically the two parts. One part is covering the sale of undivided land portion and the second part is for the construction of the complex services. These agreements were made due to the reason that the stamp duty was to be saved from the construction portion. Then after the decision in the K. Raheja Development Corporation, the department has issued notices to almost all the builders in India for the recovery of service tax, irrespective of the nature of the agreement which the builders were entering with the customers, whether it is a composite agreement for the sale of land as well as the construction, or whether it is an agreement for the sale of land and the service contract with the purchaser for the construction of the services. To overcome this problem, Department has issued the circular number 108/2002, where it has clarified the initial agreement between the promoters, builders and developers and the ultimate owner is the nature of agreement to sell, and thus it is not liable to attract any service tax because what the builder is selling is the real estate property, immovable property, and they are not providing any service tax. Now the new development with the Finance Act 2010, Mr. Honorable Finance Minister has inserted a new explanation whereby the explanation says, for the purpose of this subclause, the construction of the complex which is intended for sale wholly or partially by a builder or any person authorized by builder before or during the construction, except in the case that the whole of the consideration is received after we are getting the completion certificate, shall be deemed to be service provided. It is to be reminded that this is the deeming provision which the Finance Minister has inserted, and by the principles of law, we are not the real estate developers are not the service provider, but since this is a deeming fiction introduced by the Finance Minister, so the builders are now liable to pay the service tax. Now what are the effects of this explanation? That the service tax on the real estate developer is effective from 1st July 2010, and the imposition of service tax on builder or developer if such complex or part thereof is sold prior to obtaining completion certificate. So the main thrust of this insertion is that if you are selling your property before obtaining the completion certificate, or if you are getting the money in the installment or in the lump sum before getting the completion certificate, then builder has to charge service tax and builder has to deposit the service tax. So the key factor here is completion certificate. The persons who are from the Jaipur must know that the local building bylaws has also introduced such provisions where if the builder is selling the property before obtaining completion certificate, then he has to pay the use penalties because he is selling the property before getting the completion certificate. So the thrust of the government is that since the real estate, there are many cases where there are the cheatings and there are some malfunctionings by the builder. So what they want, that the completion certificate must be obtained by the builder so that these activities can be stopped. Now what are the requirements of the completion certificate? The prime thing is that who are authorized to issue the completion certificate? Any government authority, including local authority, like in Jaipur, it is Jaipur Development Authority or Nagar Nigam or Housing Board. Any architect, an architect registered with the Council of Architecture, chartered engineer, licensed surveyor of the respective association. But the predominant condition here is these persons like architect, chartered engineers and licensed surveyor, they must be authorized by the local authority or the local law to issue such completion certificate. The condition is who is authorized under any law for time being in force to issue such completion certificate as a precondition for its occupation. Mr. Learned Speaker may throw some light on the issue that where there is no requirement of the completion certificate. There are some cities where there is no requirement of the completion certificate. How this requirement of the completion certificate, obtaining certificate, will be addressed? Like for example, in Jaipur, sir, what happened? For the buildings up to 15 meters, JDA does not issue any completion certificate, and there is no requirement of having the completion certificate. Transitional provisions, date of booking is not relevant. Date of provision of service is relevant. As you all know that the service tax is applicable from the date it has been enacted by the law. So the date is 1st July 2010. Hence, if the construction service is provided after 1st July 2010, then the service tax is payable. Now the question arises, what will happen to the construction which has started prior to 1st July 2010? So the thing is that you have to pay the service tax on all the payments which you have received after 1st July 2010, irrespective of the question that whether the construction has been started or not. And there can be one plea that where the billing has been issued prior to this date, then there cannot be any levy of service tax. For example, what generally builders do, they charge the amount or they charge the installment on the basis of casting of some floors. Suppose third floor has been casted and the money due is 40%, and if the builder has issued the demand note, or you can say the bill, on 30th June 2010 for the recovery of this 40%, then there cannot be any levy of service tax on this amount as the services has already been given before 1st July 2010. Now what happened to advance payment made by the customers prior to 1st July 2010? It was happened earlier that the customers came to the builder that, sir, we will pay the advance money before 1st July 2010, then whether we are liable to pay the service tax or not. So there was some dilemma in this, that whether the advance payment will be liable not to pay, not to attract the service tax. Then the department had issued the notification that advance payment which were received before 1st July 2010 are not liable to attract the service tax. These are the procedural things you all know, that the basic exemption for the service tax is rupees 10 lakh and it will be counted from 1st July 2010. And the valuation of the services, now this is also again an important aspect, that how the valuation of the services will be done. Because in the arm's length transaction, the builder enters into an agreement to sell with the customers for the sale of suppose a property, and he is giving the advertisement that I am going to sell this flat for rupees say 20 lakh rupees. Now but again, as you all know that in the excise, it happens in the excise and it happens in the service tax, the department has the power to check your transactions and reject the valuation. An important aspect that how this valuation of the service tax will be done in the case of the real estate. Basically there are the abatements which you can get by the notifications to calculate the value of the service tax. There are two notifications, notification number 1/2006, it has again two provisions, and notification number 12/2003, which is in general. Now what happened, suppose you are selling your flat in 20 lakh rupees, so and the cost of the land is included in rupees 20 lakh. So you can you can have the abatement of 75%, and you have to pay the service tax on 25% of the amount, that is 5 lakh rupees, that is 4 lakh rupees. And supposingly in the case you consider, again see the agreement of the K-Railway Development Corporation, if you are entering into an agreement in two parts, one for the transaction of the land and another for the transaction of the services. And if the land is not the part of the gross amount, then you can have the deduction of 67% where the value of the land is excluded, and on the 67% you have to pay 3.399% of the service tax. And what is gross amount charge? The definition is the same. Gross amount charge includes the value of material supplied or provided, and in the case of the builder, since the builder is entering into an agreement to sell, all the amounts which are included in the sale consideration will be a gross amount charge. And as per the notification number 12/2003, that the value of goods and materials sold by the service provider will be deducted, and you have to pay the service tax on the normal rates of 10.3%. Conditions for the abatement under notification number 10/2006. You all know no sandwich credit will be given, and no benefit of notification number 12/2003. We can again analyze these abatements through a chart, where the land value is included in the valuation of the service, you will get the abatement of 75%. Where the land value is not included, you will get the abatement of 67%. Effective rate of the service tax, as the case may be, 2.575% or 3.99%. Sandwich credit of service tax paid on input service we will not get, and the sandwich credit of duty paid on capital goods we will not get. And in the notification number 12/2003, we will get the deduction for the value of goods and material, including land. So we have to keep our records, our vouchers, our bills in the proper form, so that we can get the verification of these bills by the central excise officer. We can also understand this by an example. I will take a short time on this example. That suppose cost of land is rupees 60,000, value of material used is 18,000, cost of labor services is 10,000. Total gross amount charge is 1 lakh rupees, and sandwich where you are supplying the much amount of value of goods and material. So you have to calculate this abatement on case-to-case basis. So different options for different contracts can be adopted depending upon the amount of tax liability under each option. You cannot say that this is the best notification or this is the best method for obtaining the abatement. You have to calculate in each and every type of contracts. Now, an interesting issues come developer agreement between landlord and builder. After the judgment of Fakirchand Gulati versus Upal's agency, it was said by the department, and the department has also issued the notices to the real estate developers, particularly in Jaipur, that on the development transactions or the joint venture agreement, you have to pay the service tax for the flats or for the units which you have got in consideration for the construction of the project. So we have duly replied that
his thoughtful lecture on the various issues relating to the service tax on the builders. So whatever issues you have raised, definitely I will request my learned speaker, Mr. Hiregange, to clarify the issues. Because as regards your particular issue about that the composite agreements and this builder and real estate developers agreement, what should be the tax levy and how it should be charged. So definitely I am hopeful, and you will also find that Mr. Hiregange will be quite in a position to explain you the intricacies relating to all these things. I am very much confident. Thank you very much.